Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tao of the Day. This is Martin John. I'm your host, and I am here to take you through your Tao for the day. And how do you get a Tao for the day? Do you know what your Tao is for the day? You just pick a number between 1 and 81. I will be making an Oracle deck, so it'll be a little easier. You just got to pull a card. But until that comes out, you're going to work with me to pick a number between 1 and 81. Why between 1 and 81? Well, of course, there are 81 verses in the Tao Te Ching. What is the Tao Te Ching? The Tao Te Ching is ancient text, or I should say, it's an ancient text. Let's utilize grammar properly. It's an ancient text written about 600 BCE. Now that's about the same time that they say that the Old Testament was written. So once again, it is considered an ancient text. And one of the important things about recognizing that it is an ancient text, it is one of the first texts. Writing was around, but why were we writing? We were writing things down back then because we wanted to recognize things. We wanted to write stuff down that made sense, and so like these ancient texts that we have, the Old Testament, Tao Te Ching, Brahman, or the Bhagavad Gita, and other writings that were coming out of that same time, really have a lot of information on how we were living and what was being seen as coming down the pipe in terms of how we were about to live. And there was a lot of fear in how things were going to go because we were leaning in so heavily on rules, and those rules were getting in the way of actual people living um, fully. And there was fear by a lot of people. And Lao Tzu, who wrote the Tao Te Ching, and saw that and wanted to check out, and because he wanted to check out of living in a society that was creating rules and having leaders that weren't actually leading people, he created the Tao Te Ching. Well, he was going to leave his town, and when he was going to leave his town, the precept said, hey man, you're like one of our best people, you're best citizen, and you're leaving, and that kind of sucks. Like, can you tell us how we could keep what you do intact? Is there a way that we could do that? And the Tao Te Ching was what he wrote um, upon leaving and upon checking out of the society that in the way that it was. And so that's a big deal, and that was a big undertaking for him. It took 81 verses, and he just kind of summed up what it meant to live a reasonable life. And what it meant to live a reasonable life was, how can I live my life without asking someone else to change how they live their life? And that's a big deal, because we today often want others to change. We want things around us to change. We want laws to change so that we could live our lives. And the Tao Te Ching really helps us understand that living our life is not dependent on other people, is not dependent, like being happy and fulfilled in our life right now is not dependent on others. It's about how we're doing what we're doing. I mean, it talks a lot about getting rid of desire. It talks a lot about getting rid of impetus. Talks a lot about not wanting. Because wanting, like, what do you, if you didn't have all of this around you, right? If you didn't have anything to attain, if nobody around you caused you to think, I want that, what would you want? What do you want? If you can get rid of others, if you can get rid of what others are telling you to want, if you can get rid of what society has taught you to want, what is it that you want in your life? And this is what the Tao really teaches. It teaches, like, how can you be you right now in this moment without having um, all of the preconceived ideas of what you think you want and what you've been trained to want. Because if you got rid of all that, then what is it you would actually want? Like when I spent time in the dark retreat, I'm in a room in the dark, all alone. All there is a bathroom and a bed. Um, what what did I want for in there? Did I want money? No, money's not going to help me. Um, did I want light? Well, I'm in this space and I know where everything is, so light's not really going to help me. What did I want? It turned out I didn't want for anything. you know. And when there was want and when there was desire, those were the moments that were difficult. But when those things fell away, everything became easy because I was. And that's what I always am, right? Like I'm always that person that's in the dark, not connected to the influences around me. So yeah. Well, if you have a number between 1 and 81 you'd like to read through together, and I would love to read through it with you, just pick a number and I'll read you the Tao, and the Tao will tell you about what you're going through right now, and it'll help guide you to the next place that you're going in your life. Well, I'm gonna go to number 6, just because. What the hell? That'll be my number for the day. And I've been writing notes for these, and I'm currently going to be working on number 6. A little later today, I'm going to be pulling some audio from these talks that I do on DAO, and utilizing those for an app that I'm building that's going to be called DAO of the Day. So if you're interested in picking a number, definitely step up. But in the meantime, I am going to read number 6. Number 6 is entitled The Great Feminine. Everything is born from the feminine, even heaven and earth. The feminine that births is a mother. She nourishes and supports without possessing. Despite your awareness of it, you're using it right now. So that's it. That's pretty clear and short. I like that it's short. You know, short is good, especially if it can express something big. So there are a couple things that come to mind. One, this one says like, everything is born from the feminine, even heaven and earth. The feminine that births is a mother. So that the reference here to mother says, well, what is a mother? She nourishes and supports without possessing. That's what a mother does. A mother nourishes and supports without possessing. She will feed a child without possessing that child. That child is still separate from her. She will allow that child to be what it is: male, female, non-gender binary, like it'd be whatever that child needs to be. It's birthed this child. Despite your awareness of it, you're using it right now. Now, that brings us to this idea of like, well, despite your awareness of what? Despite your awareness of the mother, despite your awareness of the nourishing and support that you are getting, you are using it right now. You are using the nourishing support that which birthed you, but not just you, that which birthed all beings, right? The mother that birthed heaven and earth birthed your mother, birthed her mother, birthed her mother, birthed her mother, and that's about as far back as I'm going to go, but you get the picture. You're using that nourishing support that comes from a mother, and it doesn't possess you. And this is why you don't have to be aware of it. Oh, Inma, it has been so long and I have missed you.
Hello, hello. How are you, Martin?
Oh, I am very well, Inma. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad that I managed to get you, to find you. Many times
Yes, it has been.
timing doesn't work.
I was pulling an audio the other day, and in the audio that I was pulling from, there was a conversation that you and I had. And I was just thinking, I was just holding you in my heart, going, oh, Inma, I hope all is
Mm,
well.
thank you so much, Martin. Yeah, I miss your wisdom and your holding.
Oh, yes. How are your children these days?
Yeah, good. I'm outside the school, so then yeah, I still have 15 minutes. So it's oh, sorry, it's the car.
No,
Let
that's
me
okay.
let
That's
me close
okay.
the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So,
they are good.
I know they will be coming out of school soon.
No, 15 minutes.
Oh, perfect. Well, then we can take a number and talk.
Yes, yes, yeah. What about seven?
Number 7. So I don't know if you're aware,
But
but
but before that, how are you, Martin?
oh, I am doing wonderfully. I am doing wonderfully. I am happy these days. I've been in love, so I have someone in my life, and that's nice. And
Oh,
I'm going to be buying a home, and there's lots of things, and I'm doing
oh,
to be I'm and I don't know if you're aware, but I wrote my own version of the Tao Te Ching, which we're going to read today.
ah,
And I'm going to be painting watercolors for
wow,
each chapter, and I'm going to be making an oracle deck with that.
wow, that sounds
So
amazing.
there's big projects and lots of love and lots of support, and I'm really happy these days.
That sounds amazing. Congratulations on
Yeah.
everything.
Yes, yes, yes. It's fun. It's fun to have an art project. Something that I can do. Like I have to do 81 watercolors. This is going to be fun. I'll do some sketching
Mm,
and I'll plan things out, but I'll also let my intuition just take me and it's going to be wonderful.
brilliant. Looking
Yes, yes.
forward to seeing when it's out there and seeing how we can buy it.
Yes, yes. Well, those things will be all on my website and all of it'll come in time, all in
Yes,
time.
yeah, yeah,
Probably
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
early next year we'll have the book and I'm translating it not only into English, but I'm also practicing my Spanish and translating it into
Oh,
that as well. So,
yeah,
it's fun. It's fun.
brilliant.
Okay, so number 7, I have a
Yeah.
title for it as The Wisdom of Not Having Preference. So
Oh,
Tao is infinite. It does not grow old or tired. Because it has no preference for itself, it can always persist. The master puts herself last and always finds herself first. By being detached from preference, she can give herself to what is and find fulfillment there.
wow. I have such a smile in my face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one's so it's like this idea every time we have a preference, every time we choose to like something more than something else, when we don't get that, we hurt ourselves.
Mhm. Mm.
Like if you want your child to get better grades, well, then it's hard to appreciate the grades they get.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm. Mhm.
And Tao
Mhm.
is infinite. It doesn't grow old or tired. Because it has no preference for itself, it can always persist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once you have a preference, that's when you decide to start getting old and tired.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess the preference, in a way, is like the attachment, right? The attachment
Yes.
to what we want. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. At the moment, because I'm juggling things at I work at the university and and kind of on the research projects and on the teaching and on the I find that when I get too attached to what I think needs to happen, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So the reason why I had such a smile in my face is because I was just connecting with the wisdom of my heart that knows what you just read, but
Yeah.
always forgets it. So just knowing that if I know that the Tao is guiding me, I don't have to have a preference and I'm free and I can just tune in and then see what step do I need to take now? Rather than let my little mind plan and then go
Mm.
nowhere and stress myself.
Yeah.
Ah,
We get so tired
yeah,
wanting things.
Oh,
When we want something to be, like if you're at the university and you want a program to do something and it doesn't, you can spend days being like, oh,
oh,
I wanted that. I wanted that. I wanted that. Ah, it's so tiring. And yet
yeah,
it's not. And so there's nothing you can do about it. And yet it can still upset us. And that's because we have preference. It's
yeah,
hard to not have preference, though, because our world is so full of preference. You can choose
yeah,
one or the other. Which one would you like? It's hard to say, I don't care.
yeah, 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 yeah. But at the same time, the preferences are coming from our mind, right? So if we are
Yeah,
in our hearts, there is no preference. There is
that's
just
right.
the moment, and yeah. So connecting more with our center and our heart will allow us to navigate these
You know,
crazy waters.
I love that idea. Like you can navigate all that. And then, this next line is really, really interesting. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. The master puts herself last and
Mm.
always finds herself first.
Mm. Mm.
And this is related to preference. Imagine
Mm.
if you just told everybody, well, what do you want?
Mm.
And you were able to be agreeable to what
Mm.
everybody else wants,
Mm.
as long as it doesn't abuse you or take advantage of you is
Mm.
personally. You can just say,
Mm.
"Oh, okay, we can move forward this project in a way that you would like."
Yeah.
Instead
Yeah.
of saying in the way I want it. And then all of a sudden, your colleagues all want things and they get them, some of them, and they get tired for the things that they don't get. And
Mm.
you have never wasted an ounce of energy because you had no preference and you
Yeah.
allowed other people to have what they wanted.
Beautiful. Many years ago, I was a participant in something called embodied leadership, and Wendy, our teacher, she was using Aikido
Yeah.
to teach us principles. And in Aikido, she was teaching us about leading in kind of as a community, as a circle. And then if we are leading by connecting to the circle, to the whole, then that's exactly what you are describing. You described it beautifully, and that's when I started remembering that. So I'm not like a triangle with a destination in mind. I'm a circle, and by being a circle and holding that, then I can, yeah, not even be last or first. I'm just one with the circle.
Right. And that's why it's like the master puts herself last. It's just like you
Mm,
you allow all things to be. You don't have to have a voice here. You don't have to have an opinion or a preference. And then you look around and just like the master, find herself first. It's not like you
yeah,
put yourself first or you want to be, and it's just like, oh, I have the extra energy. I have the ability to be okay here.
yeah, yeah.
And this
Com-
is where we wrap up. By being detached from preference, by not
mm.
connecting to a preference, she can give herself to what it is
Oh,
and
such a
find
freedom!
fulfillment there.
Such a freedom!
Yes.
Fly, I could fly.
Because you're not attached. You're not
Yes,
grounded. You're not held down by an idea that you have to have it your way.
yeah.
So that
Oh,
you can be with whatever is, however
that
it comes.
sounds so amazing.
Yeah.
So amazing. Yeah, yeah. Ah,
What university are you working
at Exeter, in the UK,
at? Exeter.
Exeter University. Yeah,
And do you
yeah.
work in the art department or?
I know. I'm a psychologist by
Ah, I didn't
training.
know.
Yeah, I'm a psychologist by training. So I'm right now I'm undercover in the business school, but I'm teaching how to I'm teaching self-awareness, mindfulness, resilience.
I'm
Yeah, and
gonna
I'm
I'm
doing
gonna I'm
teaching
gonna
that.
reach out to you on Instagram. I would love to see if we can build something together because I didn't know you were a psychologist. I think that our work would really benefit each other.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So let's talk. Let's talk. I would
good.
really love, especially if especially as it relates to the work that we have, like just the conversations we have had. I think that they've been beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, I would love to see what we will have no preference.
Yes, we will have no preference, and I just love to start and have those conversations and see
Yes,
what's possible.
and we will just leave the Tao to guide us, and
Yes,
we'll flow
absolutely.
with whatever. Yeah, and that can be absolutely extraordinary.
Absolutely, because I mean, both of us are like both of us work within the arts and philosophical, psychological sort of work.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
think I think that's beautiful, and we can definitely discover something within there.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Wonderful. All right. Well,
Thank you
you
so
send
much,
my send
Matthew.
my send all of my love to your family. It's so wonderful to reconnect with you, and we'll be talking soon.
And you to your beautiful beloved. She's so
Oh,
gorgeous.
no, thank
Yeah,
you.
your levels. Yes. And congratulations again.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely. Thank you so
And
much.
thank you again for the gifts that you bring to all of us.
Oh, it's my gift, really. So thank you.
A wonderful day. Bye.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye. Matthew.
Oh, Inma, it's so wonderful to have you. It's been great getting to know you over all of this past year, probably. It's probably been a year since we first interacted. I don't know. But I'm going to go back to number 6 now that we finished number 7. I'm going to go back to number 6 and we're going to look at this. I'm going to reread it. It's very short, and then we'll wrap it up. And if nobody else has a number between 1 and 81, we'll switch over to just signing off. So, The Great Feminine, which is number 6, that's the title of number 6. Everything is born from the feminine, even heaven and earth. The feminine that births is a mother. She nourishes and supports without possessing. Despite your awareness of it, you're using it right now. Nope, there we go. Carletta, is that right? I saw it. I don't see it at the moment. So when you come on, we will. Hello. Uh-oh. Guest has left. Okay. Carletta, you dropped off. I don't know if you meant to do that. If you did, no big deal. But if you wanted, you can come back up. So, The Great Feminine, I'm going to reread this one more time. Everything is born from the feminine, even heaven and earth. The feminine that births is a mother. She nourishes and supports without possessing. Despite your awareness of it, you're using it right now. Okay. Carletta is coming back. So, thank you so much for that. And yes, you are here. Carletta, how are you?
I am outstanding. How are you?
I am doing great. Wow, outstanding in your field. I'm so I'm so how wonderful. I don't have we spoken before?
I don't believe so. No, I don't
Okay, good,
believe so.
because
I've
I
listened
don't
to your
recall. Like,
talks and things,
yeah,
but I've
yeah.
never come up on stage.
Oh, well, this is great. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. So this is Tao of the Day, and this is all about the Tao Te Ching. If you have, I mean, this is a talk that I do regularly. So, and you said that you listen to some of these, so you may know what this is. Do you have any questions or anything like that? First off.
Well, you said that the person picks a number between 1 and 81, and then I'm assuming you read what the number says. Is there
Yeah.
anything more to
And
that?
yeah, so then I'll read it, and then I'm not just going to leave you alone out there in, in your field. What I'm going to do is, what I'll do is I'll read it. I'll take some of your initial thoughts. I might add to them, and then we'll go through it line by line and just kind of discover like, how is this? how is this chapter or this verse like resonating in your life right now? Because I look at these kind of like an oracle deck. I will be making an oracle deck out of this, but it is like when you pick a number, like in our hearts, because the Tao has been around so long, we do know. You know, somewhere deep inside, we know the information that we need. And when you pick a number, information comes to you so that you can help, you know, it'll help you kind of either make decisions or take the next step.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Great. Um, I will go with 11.
11. Okay, so this one is entitled Emptiness is Valuable. Spokes, tire, rim, and hub all make a wheel. Yet it is the space where the axle goes that makes it worthwhile. Clay is formed into a vessel. A vessel's function is to hold things, thus, its form includes emptiness. A house can be built, but if it were solid, it would be useless. It is easy to see structure, but structure is there to expose the value of emptiness.
Okay, I'm just writing this down.
Yeah. Some initial thoughts.
Um, well, with the reading and the use the usage of the tire, when you fill a tire, you fill it with air. It's initially empty, and if it's flat, it doesn't go anywhere. It's
Right.
not very useful. And for me, I would say that can there everyone goes through things, and I know that there was a point in my life where I felt empty. I was physically here and I'm operating, but I was more in autopilot, just going through the motions of daily routine, like really not there. And
Mm-hmm.
when I realized that I was just simply going through the motions and something was missing, I had to make a conscious decision to change and to make things different. So,
Mm-hmm.
this to me speaks to how things were for me maybe 7, 8 years ago. And, I was
Mm-hmm.
going through something emotional and not really knowing how to deal with it, but having my daughter and seeing that my emotions were then being reflected onto her. And that's not something I wanted to do. I didn't want her to feel that heavy negative emotion. So I had to fill myself up, meaning I had
Mm-hmm.
to take a pause, really look at myself in the mirror and fall in love with me, because the only way that I could fill her up with love and positivity and joy and happiness and all of that was if I had it within me. And me not feeling myself up with that, I would not have been able to do that. I would have just been empty and continue to operate in that emptiness. And if I had not recognized that and taken the actionable steps to fill myself up with this love and this positivity and everything I needed in order to overflow my cup to fill her cup, then we wouldn't be where we are today. I mean, oh my goodness, she wouldn't be the vibrant, energetic, happy go lucky, hey, give me a hug, kid that she is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was vital for me, like truly vital. I remember the moment vividly. And in that moment, I made that decision like, okay, your 3-year-old is sitting on your lap saying it's okay and she's wiping your tears. Is this what you truly want her to see, or do you want her to see something else? Okay, make
Mm-hmm.
this decision. This is what we're going to do. And not realizing in that moment how empty I was, but understanding that I needed to do something different. So that's what that speaks, because I was talking to someone a few days ago about
Yeah.
about it. So the synchronicity.
Yeah. You know, and that's the thing, like that which we focus on, right, comes to light for us, right? And so as you focused on that, this is how you can translate what you're hearing here, you know? And it
Yes.
is it is important also to recognize the difference between structure and emptiness as it refers to the depth. You know, like love, as you express it, can look like anything. Like
Hmm.
it morphs and changes all the time, and it can look like all sorts of things. Love doesn't have a structure until we allow it to, until we close it off into a structure, right? As soon as we have a definition of what our relationship needs to look like, whether it's with our daughter or with our lover or with our mother, or whatever, like until we put that in some box of understanding, that could be anything. That could look like anything,
Yes.
you know? And and that's a beautiful thing, because love is, in how I see this verse, love is that emptiness, because we use love to move forward. And it isn't just
Yes.
structure. And I would venture to say 7 years ago, your emptiness was because you were living in a life full of structure, which was definitions of what it was to be valuable, definitions of what it meant to be happy, and definitions of what it meant to be hurt, and definitions of what, and all of those structures. And at the end of this, the last line of this, it is easy to see structure, but structure is there to expose the value of emptiness. You can easily see what makes you unhappy. You can easily see what makes you happy. You can easily see a house. And yet from the outside, you might see a house, but what do we use in the house? We use the emptiness inside of it. We
Hmm.
don't we don't use, like, I mean, maybe we put something on the wall, but we don't exist within the wall. Right? We exist
Right.
and use that empty space. And when you say an emptiness could look in a lot of different ways, like you said, like I was empty because the structures that you lived with, the ideas of what things meant in your life, those concepts were empty. They were without love. They were without all that is truly important. So
That's
often in our world, we live under the influence of the idea that we need money, and so we will go get money. Or we need a relationship, so we will go get a relationship. And here is the structure under which these things can come into my life, because this is what my parents did, and this is what my grandparents did, and this is what I've been told by Oprah, and this is what I've been told by other people. And then all of a sudden, we go out and we fill up all of that structure. But the thing is like, you don't build a house in the void. You build a house in the space, and then you contain the space that's already there within the house. So the love has to be there before the structure.
hmm
And so often in our lives, we're building structure around nothing. So we end up building a house that's solid. And we go, well, look at my house. Doesn't it look good? And we're like, yeah, but I can't go inside. There is no inside there. And then we realize that we didn't understand what we were actually building this for. We're building it to expose the emptiness of love. And love can take anything. That's why love can be empty. Love can take violence. Love can take that, like the love that you experienced when your daughter was wiping off your tears helped you recognize what you were building a structure around.
Yes.
And
Wow.
that's deep. And that's what I see this saying.
That is profound. Everything that you said was just profound. And I absolutely agree with you. Like, oh my goodness, thank you.
Yeah. I'm gonna
I
read this
love the
first
perspective
line.
you
I'm gonna
share.
read
Thank
this.
you.
I'm gonna read this first lines, and we're gonna go through this a little bit more. So spokes, tire, rim, and hub all make a wheel. Yet it is the space where the axle goes that makes it worthwhile. If you had a wheel without an axle, all you have is a plate. but that plate would actually have empty space to put the things, right? Like the space on
Mm-hmm.
top of it. And that's the thing. All of these things, the spokes, the tire, the rim, the hub, they make a wheel, sure. But that wheel's not going to move anything if
Right.
it doesn't have that space to put the axle. And that's the emptiness. It's nothing there. And that's what's most important. This next verse, I'm assuming that you got a call, so I'm just going to continue. Clay is formed into a vessel. A vessel's function is to hold things, thus its form includes emptiness. The thing that's most important there is that the form of the vessel has to include emptiness. Are you back?
Yes. 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 I'm here. I was
Yeah.
listening the entire time. I just
Oh,
my
okay.
daughter has a friend visiting.
Oh, okay, no problem, no problem. Um, yeah, so so it's an important aspect. Like no vessel is going to forget the emptiness because the vessel's function is to hold things.
Yes. Absolutely. Wow.
And that goes with you as well, right? Like you and your daughter. Like
Hmm.
you have to have space in your life that your daughter can be there in your life.
Very much so.
You know,
Absolutely.
and my guess is when your daughter was wiping off your tears, you had structures in between you and your daughter that didn't allow that to, you know, like whatever your identity, your job, your the influences that you were living under.
That is true. Yes.
And when
That
you
that's
can get
very
rid
that's
of them,
very true.
when you can get rid of those, right? Then because you're a vessel, right? You are a vessel,
Hmm.
which means you have to include emptiness in your form. If you don't, then you're not going to be able to be utilized as a vessel.
Right.
And you're going to carry things for your daughter.
Wow. Wow. I'm loving this. I'm
Yeah.
loving this. Oh my goodness.
So the next line is a house can be built, but if it were solid, it would be useless.
Hmm.
Right? And that's what we talked about already. And then we wrap this up. It is easy to see structure because structures are around us everywhere. Structure is that masculine, like, look, I built this beautiful house. Look, I have this big car. Look, I have all of these things, right? That's the structure. But what's behind it is what exposes the value, right? But structure is only there to expose the value of emptiness. Is only there to expose the value of the feminine. That's why men are here. Men are here to expose the value of women, birth, support, all of the things that, you know, are traditionally traits of, you know, like the feminine, the yielding, the deep ability to love.
Yes. 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 Wow. This has been I don't think I was ready. This is amazing. Thank you so much. I am truly enlightened and I appreciate you doing this. And I see you all the time, so I will continue to listen. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you for coming up. It's always a pleasure, and I am always honored for someone to you know, trust me um, to just help, you know, and I know this is a public thing, so, you know, I really appreciate you being vulnerable and being able to talk about this and being able to look at it because the Tao is a very profound text. If you connect with me on Instagram or whatnot, or even just write me, uh, you know, on my website, which you can find on my profile, I would be happy to send over the text to this. So yeah. I'm gonna go right back to the Great Feminine. We read this a couple times. It's very short, so I'll go ahead and read it one more time and we'll wrap this up. So everything is born from the feminine. We were just talking about the feminine as being being the emptiness that the structure exposes, right? Even heaven and earth. And so because heaven and earth was born from the feminine, you are as well. That's not just your mother, that is the feminine, like the feminine, right? God is even born from the feminine, right? God, this masculine God that we understand in the Roman Catholic or Christian faiths that we kind of carry here in the States. That that God was still born from the feminine, and that God is a structure. That masculine sort of understanding is the structure for the depth and the bigness of what the void is, and that's within each of us. The feminine that births is a mother, and because heaven and earth was birthed from it, there is this void, right? There is this Tao. So the feminine that births is a mother. That means Tao is a mother, and she nurtures and supports without possessing. She can nurture and support you and does not possess you. You can do what you want with your life, and everything that you do will be nurtured and supported by Tao. And despite your awareness of it, of that support, you're using it right now. So what are you using that support from Tao to do? Carletta, when she was hurting and considered her life empty, at that moment, she was using the support of Tao to continue believing in this empty world of structure. And then she opened up to the world of love, and then the structures began to build around them. And the Tao supported her before, and now the Tao is supporting her now in a different way. And so I'm going to call that for number 6. Oh, William. William's going to join me, and then we'll wrap up. William,
Hey,
how you
my
doing,
friend.
man? How are
Good,
you?
good. I am fine. I'm great.
That's
Yeah,
great. I'm good to
and
hear
I
that.
love
I'm glad to
learning
hear that.
more about this with you, and gaining the wisdom of the Tao and the techniques and things that you teach and the things that you read. And I love it. You know, I'm having that 24-hour marathon on the 6th
Oh, I
for my.
didn't know that. On the
Oh, I
6th?
didn't. I thought we talked about it. Yeah, October the 6th is my birthday. I'll be 60 years old. But more importantly than that, it's my 30th year of
Sober.
being recovered from alcoholism.
Nice.
And I'd love to have everybody, come and share a little bit and share their stories and hear my story. And I'd love to have you come and talk to them about the Tao and how you can use that to have a conscious contact with your higher power and
I am here
and
to celebrate with you, man. Like
recover
you can
from
yeah, I'm gonna put it
anything.
in my calendar on the 6th. I got some things to do in the evening, but I'll definitely be around, man.
Yeah, it'll be 24 hours. So
24 hours.
from
I'm gonna hit you up.
midnight,
We're gonna have a nice conversation. It'll be fun.
yeah, from midnight to midnight, and your wisdom and what you can teach and people about the Tao can help them to have 30 years recovered also,
Yes, I'm looking forward to
because
it.
it's about believing in a higher power, in a source that is so powerful that it can help you, and that you are not the source. You are not. There is a source, but it ain't you. Because for a long time I thought I was the source, and I tried to control everything. Now I just live life out of control. I'm not in control of nothing anymore, except
Yeah,
doing the next right thing and uh,
that's it.
and
That's it.
being grateful.
The next most obvious thing is what is all we can do.
Right, right. And my
So what
fallback My, my
and
fallback is a higher power, is the source. It's not a drink anymore in my life. When
yeah,
everything I feel like is out of my control, which is great now, but then I mean that's where all anxiety comes from, is not worrying about the future, but worrying how you're going to control the future. You know,
yeah,
and I don't have that now. I don't have those problems because all I have to do is control what I do and let everybody else control what they do. and it's a peaceful, serene life when I practice those wisdom things that I learned from you and Mojo and everyone on here.
Yeah.
You know,
You know,
it's just
like so much of what, you know, like when I talk about the Tao, I talk about it as the canon of reason, or it's the collection of writings, the canon,
mm-hmm,
um, and of reason, meaning like how do we live a reasonable life? And just like you expressed, like you live a reasonable life by living your life in without needing other people to change, without
right,
needing other people to do something to make your life anything other than it is. Like
right.
you are present and you are here. And that is and this is your life. And so like I'm really always such a pleasure to chat with you. Do you have a number?
A number. Oh yeah, okay. I see. Well, 30. 30 years.
30 years. So this one is entitled, and I think this is appropriate, Tao does not dominate. Governing in any capacity, let's maybe look at this as governing one's sobriety. In any
Mm-hmm,
capacity, when led by Tao, doesn't use force to gain power. Every force applied will suffer equal counterforce. Whoa,
mm-hmm.
that's a good one.
That is.
So violence, however it is intended, will always rebound upon oneself. Where armies march,
Mm-hmm,
briars grow, and in their wake follows hunger and villainy. Skillful in what she does, the master achieves her goal and stops, neither forcing nor manipulating further. She knows that dominating goes counter to the Tao. And whoever opposes Tao will certainly die early.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, that is appropriate. Yeah,
Yeah. You know, I
absolutely.
see one because I have the benefit of being able to like look at this, you know, like and read it, you know, and like I see this. There's that every force applied will suffer equal counterforce. And you know, we said early, like governing in any capacity, let's say governing your sobriety, we can read this through. Governing your
Mm-hmm,
sobriety in any capacity will lead when led by Tao, doesn't use force to gain power. You don't
mm-hmm.
force it, right?
Yeah,
Like, because if you forced your
you
sobriety,
surrender to it.
yeah, you surrender to it. Beautiful, right? Because if you force your sobriety, how many people are just gonna be out there in a week?
Right,
You
right,
know, all those people that are trying to force it, trying to prove to everybody that they got sobriety.
right, right. And you can't do it. You can't force it because you're
No,
powerless over it.
yeah,
You can't control it. But once you say, I have no power over it, and you release it and you let the Tao, the higher power, take control over it,
yeah,
then you don't have to take the drink
right. And you know,
because
this next
it's,
line, this is the big one. Every force applied will suffer an equal counterforce.
yep,
That's your relapse.
you bet it is. Yeah. Yeah, you try to force it and you don't drink and you don't drink and you think, okay, I got this, I'm doing it, and that craving forces back at you, comes right back stronger and stronger until you are defeated. You take the drink.
And then once you take a drink, and this is the thing that, you know, I've seen so much of. Once you take the drink, you can say, okay, I fucked up and get back on that shit next day.
Yeah.
But you don't. You know, like and you don't when you're using force because you have to double down on yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
you end up hurting yourself even more because you used so much force to keep that sobriety. It's kind of like you're tightening and tightening and tightening that rubber band. And then once you let go, it just snaps. And then there's no more tightness on it, right? And now you have to now you are lost in the world of lost in that world of back in that world of addiction, back in
Right,
that
right.
world.
The vicious circle. The more you drink, the more you hate yourself. The more you hate yourself, the more you drink. You know.
Right. And then you feel bad and it's like what it takes to get one back in the room, what it takes to get someone back into that, you know, outpatient program, what it takes to get someone to stand up again. It
Yeah,
takes so much, because the more force you use, the more counterforce is going to be applied to you when it snaps.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You just have to let them come back on their own and say,
Right.
I made a mistake, and that's the one thing is that we don't judge anybody for their relapses, their mistakes. Your family might go, "Oh, see, you can't do it. You just can't. You failed again. You tried it. You failed again. You tried it." I know people. We pick up a white poker chip for our first
Yep.
day sober when we join the
24 hours.
program. Yeah, 24 hours. And I had one friend. He had a bag. I mean, a sandwich paper brown sandwich bag full of them. So many that the group asked him to please bring them back. They couldn't afford to keep buying them. But
We'll
he
give them back as you
finally
keep getting
picked
them.
up one and stayed sober for the rest of his life, which was 26 years before he died.
Oh,
So all those hundreds of chips that he picked up, it was that one that worked.
yeah.
He'd been coming for about 10 years before he got that one chip and he stayed sober.
Mm-hmm. And this,
So,
as this one continues, so violence, however it is intended. So violence, even violence against your own addiction, even
yeah.
violence against yourself, however well intended, because like you might be violent with yourself because you gotta, because you want to get sober and you want to like, so no matter how it's intended, you might, like beat yourself up, judge yourself, all of those things, no matter how it's intended, will always rebound upon oneself.
hmm Yeah, a lot of times
Don't
they take the drink and they got, well, I'm messed up now, and so they just go and try to drink themselves to death, and they
Yeah.
just do all kinds of physical damage to themselves, and then when they get out the emergency room and they're bruised and they're beaten and they're can barely move, then they're at a point to say, well, maybe surrendering was the thing to do.
Yeah. And that's interesting that we talk about surrendering, because this next line is about armies.
hmm
But when we talk about armies, it's like those armies within you that are pushing you to drink and pushing you to escape and pushing you to do that. Where armies march, briars grow.
hmm
And within your body, when those armies are marching and you're doing that, like it's the only thing that's going to grow is a briar. It's just going to be a field of thorns.
Yeah,
And in their wake follows hunger and villainy, hunger for love, hunger for all of these things. And because you have hunger for these things, you will do anything to get them. And even, and yeah, I don't know how much I don't want to put everybody in this, but, like stealing from your family and hurting the ones that you love. That's villainy.
it
That's like
is.
hunger for purpose and villainy.
It is. Yeah, and the you can try to explain it to people. Easiest way to say is that we don't drink alcohol to get drunk. We don't drink alcohol to have a good time. We don't drink it to enhance our feelings like normal people do. We drink it to change the way we feel about ourselves. That's what the alcohol does for it.
Yeah.
But it takes more and more of it every time to get that feeling. And if we could just get to that feeling of I'm okay, I fit in, I'm good enough, I'm 6 foot tall and bulletproof like everybody else, and I can sing, I can dance with the girls, I can do a good job at work, I can be a good friend and play football and catch and all this stuff. I can do that as long as I have the alcohol in me, but I
Right.
can't without it. And that is why we drink as an alcoholic. We're searching for a feeling to fill a hole that is inside us, right in the center of our chest, that we don't know what to fill it with. And then we surrender and let go of the alcohol and come to a spiritual awakening to know that we're all those things that we thought we could only get from the alcohol. We just don't believe it yet. And once we
Right.
believe that, then we've had a spiritual awakening that allows us to not have to take a drink again. Now
Yeah.
I was looking at there's so many things. It's not called alcoholism anymore. It's called alcohol use disorder, and there's a pill that you take, and 30 minutes later you drink alcohol, and it counteracts the effect of the alcohol, so you don't get drunk, you don't get feeling better about who you are, and you can drink and not have any worries. And I'm like, what is the world coming to now? I can't believe this. I
Well,
don't.
it is, like our penchant or our dis nobody wants to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, everybody
And
wants a
that's all.
quick, easy fix.
Yeah. And
And
life, as the Tao expresses, is like being okay with what is. And if you
yeah,
drink and you're drunk, well, that's okay. And we also have to be okay with the fact that they have these pills. That's all right. We're not going to
yeah,
use them. We don't need
right,
to use them,
right,
but it's okay that it's out there, because now people need more and more and more in order to get to a place where they can feel uncomfortable. And if they
yeah,
if they allow themselves to feel comfortable this much, imagine what the discomfort that they're gonna have to go through on the other side.
yeah, yeah,
And maybe they won't. Maybe they'll be able to take this pill and see that they love themselves and be able to grow. And I wish everybody the best in whatever they're doing, of course.
yeah. And they got another new pill that it gives you an instant hangover. The minute you take one drink, you have one drink of alcohol, you take the pill first, you have an instant hangover, and you can't. When you got a hangover, you don't want to drink nothing.
That's
And
true.
I'm like,
Yeah.
now that's comical. I like that one. That one I
Yeah.
like. But it's just so many people that are looking for a quick cure, a quick fix, and sometimes the quickest fix is the long road, where you
It
have to
is.
do some
And
work.
it's not that long.
Right? You can do the steps in the beginning of Alcoholics Anonymous. They used to take a newcomer in and do all the steps in a night, and they'd come out and never take a drink again.
Now you dropped off. Let's just finish this up. If you can come back on just for a moment. I do have Kelly in line, and I want to get to her. Um, so we're gonna bring William back, and then we're gonna get to Kelly. I wanted to just read this last section. Skillful in what she does, the master achieves her goal and stops. And that's an interesting thing to what we're talking about. You achieve your goal. What's your goal? Your goal isn't like, maybe in AA it's to be sober, but really it's to love yourself so you don't have to want to drink.
Right? And to pass it on. The
Yeah,
only
and you're going
way.
to do that in your life. You don't necessarily have to stay in the rooms to be able to do that.
Right,
But
right.
that is how it has been pushed. But here, neither forcing nor manipulating further. You don't have to keep forcing your sobriety, because your sobriety just happens.
It just happens, yes.
Once
And
you love
today is,
yourself, that just happens. She
yeah, my
knows that
sobriety
dominating
is
goes
is
counter to the Tao. So you don't have to dominate anything. And whoever opposes Tao will certainly die early. And opposing Tao in this sense, and opposing Tao and what it
yeah,
means here when we say you will certainly die early, is that you will relapse.
yeah, yeah. And see, our whole thing, you have to give away 100% of what you get spiritually. You have to give it to someone else. And the best place to find an alcoholic to talk to is in an AA meeting. But there's other places. Sometimes you can just, I'll leave my name with a doctor at the hospital who handles the people who come in with addictions. And if you have somebody that, really resistant to going to meetings or going into detox or treatment, give me a call and I'll come up and I'll talk to them and
Yeah.
just tell them my story, what I did, how it happened to me. And if they decide that and most of the time, I've never had anyone say, okay, I'm not going anyway. They go, well, I guess I could go to a detox, a treatment center, and see what might happen, and that's something that the doctor couldn't convince them to do because he's not an alcoholic. He doesn't understand it. Now
Right.
he works with them. That's his job at the hospital, to evaluate them, but he doesn't have that connection that you have when you meet someone who, if you're missing a leg. My brother is missing a leg. When he meets another guy who's missing a leg, they're the only two who understands what the hell they're talking about. I don't understand what they're talking about. They got both my legs, so I
Right.
don't
Yeah.
know. And that's a unique thing, is to find people with the similar situations and not problems, but because nothing's a
Yeah.
problem
Nothing's a
anymore for me.
problem. You just
It's
take what
just
just take
something
what it
that
is.
hasn't been solved
It's
yet,
just,
you know.
yeah, it's just, like, so here you are. Here you are. You ain't got a leg. All right.
Yeah, so they understand each other just like
That's
I
right.
understand another alcoholic, just like a mother understands another mother who's giving birth. I mean, I
That's
have
right.
no idea what that is like, and I
No.
really am
And it's
not
and it's and
curious.
it's not for you. That's the thing.
Right.
You don't have to, like, everybody has their own shit and it's not for you. That's why this is all about, like, living and allowing other people to do what they do without it affecting your life. Like,
Yeah,
and
and
if
without
it does affect
judging
your life, how are
anybody
you
else.
going to deal with it? That's all.
Yeah, and without judging anyone.
Right. There's no need to judge.
I can't say, well, I'm better than you because I haven't had a drink in 30 years to another alcoholic who's only got
Right.
24 hours or 10
Yeah, because
years.
you might have 24 hours tomorrow.
Right, right. I have to keep doing the same things that I started doing in the beginning to keep what I got.
Yeah.
You keep doing what you're doing, you keep getting what you're getting. You
That's
know,
right.
so if you're doing the wrong thing, you're gonna keep getting the wrong thing. If you're doing the right thing, you'll keep getting the right thing. And I don't make change for the sake of change. Uh, but I don't fight change because that's the one constant in the universe, is that everything will change. Today's situation, today's problems, today's happiness and joys
Mm-hmm.
are going to change eventually. Doesn't
That's
mean they're
right.
going to get worse. It doesn't mean they're going to get better, but they are
Right.
going to change.
They're
And
going to
we have to
change.
be
And
able
that's
to
in
change.
going that and that goes with Tao. And, as this one states, going counter to Tao. Anyone who opposes Tao will certainly die early. So the more resistance you put up, the more resistance you're going to experience.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Thank you so much.
never
I got a
ending.
couple people in line,
All
so I'm
right,
going to go
yeah, I
ahead and
know,
let you
and
down. But
I got to go get that friend of mine a
I'm
ride
gonna
to
go
the
ahead
store
and grab
too.
Kelly.
You have a
And
great day,
Kristen,
my.
I see you. If you can stick around, I would definitely. Um, oh, and she had to go. Oh, and Kristen, you're next. I just got a message from Kelly saying she had to go, and so poopy.
Good morning.
Good
Well,
morning.
that's a
How are
big
you?
poopy. That's a
Yeah,
big
it was.
poopy,
Yeah,
but it's
she
definitely
was.
divine, right? Everything
Yeah,
works out.
yeah, it must have been because she had to go, and so she did, and she went just as I was getting to
Oh
her,
my
and
gosh,
she
isn't
was,
that
yeah,
funny?
and she sent me a little message saying she appreciated our
Oh,
enthusiasm. So, William, thank you so much once again, and Kristen, how are you?
good. I'm actually on a walk, and I flipped on my phone, and I was like, "Oh my God, Martin John's on!" Like, because I miss you so many times, and
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm
yeah,
going to join his queue. I'm going to see how many people he's got.
and
So yeah,
yeah, look at that, like,
I
and you're
know.
you're up, you're up. Look at this.
Yay!
I'm so glad. I'm so glad, and I know
Me too.
you're a part of the Fab U talks, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes. And
Fab
congratulations.
you.
I'm glad. Yeah, like I'm excited to see what you guys offer.
Are you going to be able to make it? Would you come? You,
No, I'm not going to be able to make it because
yeah,
I'm traveling and other things,
yeah.
but yeah,
There's I
I
think
will.
there's live streaming too if people want to
Yeah,
meet
yeah,
me at
yeah.
live
I'm going to be
streaming. But
trying to check some of those out. I mean,
yeah,
I
awesome.
someone was on the Dow yesterday. I forget her name. Tina, I believe.
Yeah, Tina. She's
Yeah,
the
and she was.
facilitator.
What's that?
She's the facilitator. She's the one
Oh, okay, yeah.
hosting the
So
event.
she came up, and I don't think she and I ever connected before, or I know she and I never connected before, so that was really nice. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, and she was talking about it, so
you'll
awesome.
like Tina. She's good people. You'll
Yeah,
jive with her.
I
Yeah,
like good people. I like good
yeah.
people.
So do I get to
Um,
pick from your deck today?
yes. So that's all
Oh,
I'm working with these days. So
Really? Oh
yeah.
my God, Martin John, that's so bitchin'. I love that. But I was thinking that I was like,
Yeah,
as I was
I will be releasing it, like soon, but I'm making
okay.
notes and stuff that'll go along with the text and why I translated things in a certain way, and then I'm doing watercolors for them, and I'll be making an
Oh,
oracle deck so people can like do Tao of the Day like oracle decks, so they'll be able to like
that's
pull a card.
awesome.
So there's a lot kind of going on around all of this, but yeah, it's I mean,
I
I guess
love that though. I think,
it's been October 5th, it'll be a year since my
uh,
first Tao talk on wisdom. So this
wow.
has really, and it's really kind of, because the Tao was a big part of my recovery. It's kind of taken like I'm talking about recovery a lot less and talking about Tao and this kind of stuff a lot more. It's just all been
Wow.
very natural and moving forward. So
And that's what's cool about that whole journey, right? When we just let go and get on, just say, hey, what feels next? It's just this beautiful, lovely flow, which is
yeah.
the Tao,
It's
which
all
is the
just
Tao.
happening, and I just woke up one day and went, "Oh, I didn't realize that Tao kind of like edged out a lot of my recovery stuff."
Yes.
So yeah, so it was
Wow,
nice,
that's
like
amazing.
I'm open to it. So
Yeah.
yes, a number
Okay.
between 1 and 80.
Between 1 and 81,
Yep,
74.
74. So this one is entitled "Don't Cut Yourself."
Ooh.
People are not naturally afraid to die. It is what we are born to do. Fear of death is important if you want to rule over people. However, you must artificially instill this fear into their hearts. To accomplish this,
Mm.
you kill as an example to control the masses. Since the beginning
Hmm.
of time, there has only been one executioner. Trying to take his place will lead to nothing good. As a novice, with a master carpenter's tools, you're going to cut yourself.
Hmm. That's beautiful. So I'm interpreting that it is fear that we are going to cut ourselves on, and it is the returning back to and applying the love back to it that we heal or correct whatever space that we've gotten our little silly asses in.
Mm, mm-hmm,
You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, is that what is, if I'm hearing it correctly? I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, no. There's no right or wrong. Like this is, like words are always things that,
Will
and
you
I
read
think
it
that's
again though?
good.
Because I'm
Yeah,
trying to
let me read
soak
it
it
again.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. People are not naturally afraid to die. It is
Right.
what we are born to do.
Hmm.
Fear of death is important if you want to rule over people. However, you must artificially instill this fear into their hearts. To accomplish this, you kill as an example to control the masses. Since the beginning of time, there has been only one executioner. Trying to take its place will lead to nothing good. As a novice with a master carpenter's tool, you are going to cut yourself. Now, so when I read this, I look at this idea of afraid to die, and as in this big sense, not just dying physically, but
Right.
dying emotionally,
Hmm.
dying to those things that influence you, right? Like anything that you are under the influence of, you are dying to. Right. So if you're under the
Hmm.
influence of the idea that you have to have a job that earns a certain amount of money, or if you have to have
Yes.
a
Yep.
certain kind of car, if you have so people are not naturally afraid to die. People are not naturally afraid to not have something, whether it's their life or a thing or a status or anything, right? People are not naturally afraid to not have something, to lack in any way, right? Like that's okay. Like that happens. It is what we are born to do. We are born to experience things. And sometimes we are going to experience not having, maybe not having our life, maybe not having a job that other people want us to have or whatever. We're just here absorbing this moment. So that's
Hmm.
what this is sort of saying. This first line, I think, is saying people are not naturally afraid, maybe period. It is what we are born, like not being afraid is like, that's not a natural state. Like it's being afraid is not a natural state, right?
Right.
Like being here present in this moment is, like, we want to survive. And I was talking to someone about this verse, and like there's a big difference between wanting to survive and not wanting to die. And if you want to survive, you will live your life in a certain way. And if you do not want to die, you will live your life in a different way. And that is how this line reads to me. People are not naturally afraid to die. It is what we are born to do.
Mm-hmm.
Fear
Well,
of death is important if you want to rule over people. However, you must artificially instill this fear into their hearts. Thoughts?
thoughts are yes. I mean, yes, absolutely. If we want to control, I have this sentence in my book somehow, in probably different wording, but the best way to control people is through fear.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely, I believe that. I agree with that 100%. And that is what the ego seeks to do with us, trying to keep us small. And the ego fears its own death, so it instills fear in us to keep itself alive and thriving, I guess is the only word that's coming to me. So I believe that when we came here, we were not afraid, right? We're just 100% purely connected to our source. We just knew nothing other than that. And as the ego started to form and life started to happen, all these things, when that fear came in. And I think with what I'm interpreting this to say for Kristen is that it's not a healthy state, nor is it our natural state to be living in this crazy fear zone and this survival zone that many of us are living in. It's
Yeah.
really natural for us to be connected to our spirit. But we're going to cut ourselves, we're going to fall, we're going to, trip during this sometimes, which to me is that connection with ego and believing the rantings, right? But we don't have to, because the natural state is happiness. I heard something the other day. I cannot remember. I think it was Greg's Take. He's on here. Greg's Take. He said he read a quote from somebody. Couldn't tell you who it was a name I have never heard of, and it was some other ethnic backgrounds, and I didn't write it down. But he said something to the effect of like that happiness is the natural state of humans.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's us that jacks it up.
Yeah, and I would step back from happiness a little bit. Happiness is still a judgment, right? Like there's like, and that's why we kind
Right,
of
right,
like
right.
this. But yeah, I mean, depending on how we define that word, yes, like being is our
Yes.
natural state, right? And so
Yes.
like we don't have to judge what state we're in, right? Like that is the natural state, and
Yes.
that's what this is really kind of addressing, right? Fear of death, fear of death is important if you want to rule over people. And
Yeah.
then we see this, like, to accomplish this you kill, as an example to control the masses. And we've seen that in religions, we've seen that in our
Mm-hmm.
government, we've seen that in the economic system. We see that, like, you you put people on display that do not adhere, and you punish children that do not adhere,
Yeah.
and you put children in the corner that do not adhere, so that you can control the masses. And all
Mm-hmm.
of that is, well, you're only controlling them through fear.
And shame. Yeah. Shame
Right,
and
right,
fear.
right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like
When it
there's
comes
a
to
fear of
school.
being shamed, right? Like
Yeah.
there's a fear of having to
Yes. Yeah.
do that. So then we move into this last section. Since the beginning of time, there has been one executioner. Trying to take its place will lead to nothing good. And what that is like, there is only one, like, way of experiencing something, and that is
Yes.
just through the natural course of experiencing it. And even and if you want to make a child feel shame because you want to control them, you can instill that in them, but that's not going to lead to anything good, right?
That's right.
You're
Oh,
not doing them a
absolutely.
favor. That
No.
you can try and build an economic system around, like, making people, like, be a certain way, but as we can see right now in time, like, that's not going to lead to anything good.
Absolutely. I agree with that. My girlfriend and I were talking about that once a while back, and we said, how awesome is it that we did zero parenting through fear.
Right.
Because a lot of us, especially raised in the 70s, a lot of it, we were parented through fear,
Mm-hmm.
right? This year I'm going to whip your ass or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and yeah, I 100% agree with that, Martin John.
And so, once again, like as this one wraps up, as a
Mm-hmm.
novice with a master carpenter's tool, you're going to cut yourself. And what that means is that, you know, if you parented through fear,
Mm-hmm.
you will raise children that will, and it will hurt you.
It'll hurt
Because
you. That's
right,
right.
that's what I'm saying. Right, it'll
It'll
hurt you.
boomerang.
Right, it's going to,
Yeah.
and that's just what William Black Fox and I were talking about. This idea that
Yeah.
if you do anything out of with if you use violence, it's going to rebound back to you.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautifully. Beautiful. Beautiful. Very well done. I'm so excited to get this. And I want the Oracle deck. I'm
Yeah,
gonna like
it's gonna be
pile
good.
up. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
so
gonna be good.
good.
Yeah.
I have tons of Oracle decks. The other day my daughter looks at these. I don't know, she's looked at them every day for her life. And all of a sudden she goes, "When did you get these?" Because she's 16. And I go, "I've had these, honey." Oh. And she starts looking through them. I'm like, Oracle decks are awesome, babe. I'm like, they're just like these little quick reminders that give you a little boost of energy. And she's like, okay. So now she has one sitting on her um, nightstand. So I'm very into Oracle decks and I actually hope to make one of my own someday. That's in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
and as I was doing the Tao, because Tao of the Day is so Oracle sort of related,
Yes.
and I've seen that at least. And as did so many people that have been up on this stage. But like it just came very naturally for me to be like, oh, I'm just gonna do some sketching and then I'm gonna make some watercolors and then we'll just pump out an Oracle deck. What the hell?
I just love that you're just flowing through inspiration and not trying to make, because I don't feel ever that energy with you of
Yeah.
pounding the pavement. I feel I'm
No.
just, yeah, no, I feel flowing and what sounds next kind of feel.
Yeah,
And that's,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
what
That's how
sounds
I've
next.
always been,
Yep.
and I think a lot of that, like just that's because the Tao has been in my life for 20 years and, my
Hmm.
sobriety and so much of my life has just been in the space of flow. So,
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, brother, I love you. I think I'm about
love
getting
you.
close to time
Yep.
here.
Yep.
All right. Keep being you, bro.
All right. Well,
I'll talk to you.
you as well.
Uh,
We'll talk
okay,
soon.
thanks. Okay,
Ciao.
bye.
We got Lois and then Mary Kay. I would love to get you both on. So I'm going to start with Lois and see where we're at, and then we're gonna go with Mary Kay. Lois, how you doing?
Hey Martin, how you doing?
Oh
Just
well. Oh,
put
look
my
at you,
back
nice
back
and
to sleep
calm.
when I
Look
got
at
up.
you.
Okay,
Was
no,
it?
I got woke up at 3 and I
Yeah, me too.
prepared and I did my meditation and I did my little energy work and then my ass said, go back to sleep.
Yes.
So I just woke back up again, refreshed, sitting
Good.
in the yard, looking at the grass and all the foliage, and it's like you know.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah.
all. That's
So you
all.
know me, I like to chill. Okay, that's
Yeah.
just take a chill pill. But sometimes I get to going and it's like, oh, like yesterday I was going to, it wasn't, I was relaxed, but my mind was going. And then I was like, you know what, I gotta calm it down. And then my niece asked me to go sing karaoke. And then I was like, I don't know, think I want to. But then I said, well, maybe I should because I'm not here that often. And then someone told me, he says, Lois, you know you practice what you preach. Just go and tell her that you just need to chill. And when I
Yeah.
did that, everything that wasn't working at the time, because my phone wasn't even working, acting right. I was calling the phone company and everything else because it just wouldn't go on the internet. And then
Hmm.
all of a sudden, magically, I'm gonna say magically,
Yeah.
everything the phone cleared up and the internet was there. It's like, but it wasn't
I do,
until I finally
like I do
admitted,
that sometimes, like where I take on just a little more than I want to, and I know that I
yes,
don't want to take it on, but I take it on. And I was talking to Andy the other day, and I had to apologize because I was just like, yeah, we can talk, but I really wasn't present. And then I
mm-hmm,
felt bad about it. And then I was like, look, I'm sorry, but I have to be able to speak up. And she was like, I want you to. And I was just like, yeah, but
yeah,
it's not normal for me, right? It's not
yeah,
how I have always acted. And I haven't always acted in the best way because I might just like, I only got to do 3 minutes. And so like I'll take a call, but during the first 3 minutes of that call, I'm doing something else. And then it's like, all right, well, let me just call you back. And then I'm like, oh, I was being a dick. Yeah, I was being a dick.
Hmm.
All I gotta say is give me fucking 5 minutes and I'll give you a call back.
There it
Like
is.
all I gotta do is speak up. But sometimes I just don't do it because it's like I don't want to hurt someone's feelings or I don't want to do, and it's like, no, man, like I gotta take my shit. Like it's
There it
mine.
is.
Like, like this person loves me. All people in my life love me. They ain't gonna worry
Hmm.
about it if I'm taking care of myself.
No, not especially when you've been telling them to take care of themselves. Okay,
Absolutely. What the
so
hell?
all I
Like
did was
that's
go in there
that's
and say,
that's an
"Hey,
insult to them.
yes, okay." It's like you tell me to take care of myself, and you ain't take care of yourself. Because I was thinking,
Yeah.
if I go, I ain't gonna want to sing, but if I go, I'm gonna be expected to sing, and then there are people,
Mm-hmm. It's just
the
like
VJ. Every time I come, the VJ, where's Luis? Is Luis in California? And then the VJ expect me to go up there and sing, and I'm thinking,
yeah.
I'm not in that mood. Then I would have to have a drink to feel
Right.
like, and I'm like, I ain't about that right now.
Yeah.
I just went in and said, "Hey, I'm good. I can't go right now." I said, I'm not. I can't go. I said, I don't feel like it. I'm
That's
pass
right.
on this one,
That's all
you know.
right. We
And
don't want to
everything,
do that. That's all.
yes. And I
Yeah,
love
ain't nothing
doing it,
wrong with that.
but
Yeah, of course. When you
I
love doing it, when it's right to do.
there it is. There it is. And
That's
yesterday was a vacate day for my head and
yes.
my energy and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, if I didn't want to go, and then I didn't want to say yes and then go half-ass, because
Right.
that's
And
because
like
then
that was
everything would
something.
irritate me. Okay, go
Right.
ahead.
I read something like that. Like, anything done half-hearted is done cold-hearted.
Yes, exactly. Because you're gonna
Like
find
if
anything.
like
You're
just
gonna
like me
find
in that phone
anything.
call.
Hmm.
Yeah, if just like me in that phone call, if I just because I was like, okay, yes, I can be present, and then I
Uh-huh.
start doing something else, that's half-heartedly like being present, and that
Yes.
is a cold-hearted thing to do because I just told someone I would be present.
Thank you.
And it's like,
Okay.
no, and that's not the right way to go about it. And I
No.
know better than
Mm-mm.
that. Now I just got to speak up. I got to learn how
Amen.
to speak up better. That's all.
Amen. And that was what it was. I didn't want to hurt nobody's feelings. But then I was like, wait a minute. Well, I'm gonna do that. Then I go out and and the minute somebody do something that I don't like, or I let a
Yeah.
trigger come up because I
Now I'm
was in
being a
a
poopy pants out here with everybody else, ruin
yes.
everybody's day.
And I know that good and well that I wasn't in the mind state to go and be in public and because I was in a more relaxed, introspective place, and I would have been
Yeah.
there looking like I'm staring off into space from them. Where what's wrong with you? Nothing. What are you talking about? What's wrong with me? Nothing. And all that kind of attitudinal stuff. But no,
Yeah.
I preferred to stay home. And then when I made that decision, everything that wasn't working at the time when I was trying to decide started to work. And I was like, look at you, God. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah,
so every
absolutely.
time, that's why I was telling you, I was wanted your thing because I would have to hear what your program because I haven't listened yet. I bought it, but I didn't
Oh,
listen yet.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
No, it's like
but
it's yours
yeah,
for the
so
life. So whatever. Take your time.
yeah, man, because me, it's like, am I under the influence of my ego? Am I under the influence of pleasing somebody? Am I under the influence? Because I always think of that since I heard you say that at one time.
Yeah.
Now, and I haven't had your class, but I can almost get it
Yeah, no,
because
it's
I
it's
think about
it's
that. I think
truth, man.
about that. I think about that all the time. Wait a minute, when I'm saying this yes, and do I really mean yes? Okay, or do I really mean no? And I'm just trying to acquiesce. And I refuse to say yes when I mean no anymore.
Good.
I just don't
Yeah.
do it. I just,
Yeah. I gotta I
and
got
it's
yeah.
uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable, but shit. Okay. But anyway,
Yeah.
the number that popped up for me this morning, is either 44 or 49. And I'm going to let you choose which one.
All right. Well, let me look. 44. I'm gonna pick 49.
Okay.
49. 49 is entitled Illusion of Separateness. The
Ooh.
master has freed herself from separateness. She opens herself to receive from all beings. When she encounters sincerity, she responds in kind. In the face of duplicity, her sincerity remains. When she encounters goodness, she responds in kind. In the face of evil, her goodness remains. Why should she change for the manifestation? She
Amen.
knows the manifestation is an illusion of separateness. Beyond that, there is only one.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Oh my God. Because the thing is, you can be you regardless to how anything is going, with the way anything looks, how anything is. Because, like I said, if I'm having a problem with somebody, I can be stay calm because I know that we're connected, and whatever they're feeling and projected to me is something that I'm feeling on the inside somewhere, and it's up to me to stay calm and figure that shit out. It's not for me to respond and like kind and I got it because you did you can be screaming your head off. I'm like I told you, I think I told you before. I'm like the little kid on the play swinging on the swing while the infernal building is burning up behind me. Because one, I can't do anything about that infernal building, but I can sit there and be at peace and pray and just stay in my safe zone in that place where I just am, where I'm not judging. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, that reactive stuff. I had to quit that long time ago. That's probably was why I had high blood pressure because I was so reactive to everything. And now blood pressure is just fine. I'm chill. Okay, I'll let it go. Now if I feel something about it, I'll send a prayer that way. But I'm not gonna let go of the me just being. And just because somebody's mean to me, don't mean I have to be mean to them. Or somebody holler at me, don't mean I have to holler at them. And a matter of fact, when people are hollering at me, I get more quiet. You know. And then
Yeah.
then I responded, why aren't you mad? Because I don't have an issue with this. I'm good. You go ahead and I feel like you got to say something. Go ahead and say what you got to say. And like I said, I've been in a situation where they're screaming at me at the top of the head, blaming me for stuff. And I'm listening and I'm thinking, is that mine? No. Okay, you can listen to this. Because if it ain't yours, you can listen.
Yeah.
Okay? If it ain't yours, you can listen. You don't have to be affected by whatever it is that you assume may be happening in front of you or to you or through you or whatever. You just can be at peace no matter what. And that's where I am. I mean, and no matter whether things are going quote unquote good or bad, I still have my joy. Okay, everything didn't go as like I wanted it yesterday because especially with the phone not going on the internet, VPN taking the thing out, it was a mess. Phone company decided they can't do nothing about it. Call tomorrow. And I'm thinking, okay, let me Google it, and then Google wouldn't work on the other. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm just gonna stay at peace. What are you trying to tell me? And the thing was, you don't feel like going.
Yeah.
Just say you don't feel. So when I said I don't feel like going, I come back outside, turn on the phone, and was just going to listen to music because music was playing and I can talk on the phone. But like I said, no internet. And as soon as I turn the phone on, all of a sudden the damn app pops up. I'm thinking, okay, well, and then I realized that I was feeling something that was not normal for me, but the whole thing is that I was at peace with it and I didn't have to change my attitude just because the phone was going crazy and wonky and yelling. Because I can remember a day when that phone would have been wonky. What the hell's wrong with this? I'm supposed to have internet. I pay for internet. Why don't I have the internet? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, shh, I ain't finna trip. Okay, I'm put this
Yeah. Yeah.
down and I'm gonna leave it. So it's like when you can keep your head. And this will be the if point by Roger Kipling. If you keep your head when all about, I mean, when other people are blaming you, if you can trust yourself and all men doubt you, if you can, you know what I mean, you're a master of your fate and a captain of your soul. When you can just stay you, no matter what else is happening. Learn that I can stay a loving, giving being, even when all hell is breaking loose, even when I'm being blamed for shit, even when the stuff is falling down all over me. I can still have joy. And that's in this part. And I say this, having my daughter been gone, having this. And then today I received a beautiful message from one of her friends that he didn't see one of the messages I sent him last year after she had passed away. And when he read the message, I guess he got back to me, and it was just so beautiful because he talked about how she was, and then he talked about his father just passing, and how he was message after his father had passed because what I said in the message helped him. And I'm thinking, well, he read the message when he was supposed to, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I didn't have any. It was like, oh, well, don't worry about it, Drew. I see you. And I send
And
him
and
love
that
and
that
send his
that
mama
relates
love.
so much. That relates so much to that when she encounters sincerity, she responds in kind. In the face of duplicity, her sincerity remains. And that's the thing, like she, the master, understands that if she's finding something that's duplicitous, or if she sees something that's evil, because the next line
Hmm.
is when she encounters goodness, she responds in kind. In the face of evil, her goodness remains.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like just like you sending that message, and you're like, well, he didn't listen to it, he didn't respond. Like if you lost your patience, you would have been like, hey, what's up? But like being like, moving
Hmm.
towards being a master, that it's going to happen in its time and you don't have to force it. So your goodness remains, your sincerity remains in the face of that. And then this
Hmm.
one wraps up. Why should she change for the manifestation? She knows the manifestation is an illusion of separateness. Beyond that, there is only
Yes.
one. You know that there is only one and that you're connected to all of those things and that you're here present with
Hmm.
that. And
And
that
and
is and that's beautiful.
And with that, also the fact that it's been over a year since Brianna left and his father just left, I was able to be there for him in a way that he probably didn't even realize I was going to be there because I've gone through I've went through most of the hard part of the healing process, quote unquote hard. Okay. And now I'm at this place where I can be there for him during this time. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
that mess he read it and responded when he needed to, and then when it would be best for him. It wasn't necessarily. I can't say it wasn't best for me because I needed that today. I needed to hear that because yesterday I sat here on this back porch and I was thinking. The last time I was sitting on the back porch and I talked to her, she was teaching us a painting. She was teaching us how to paint on video. I mean on what you call it, FaceTime, because
Okay.
she was sick. She was sick and she had just got COVID, and it was my sister's birthday, and she was teaching us. We painted a tree, with a tire swing on it, and I was sitting back and thinking that, and I thought, oh my goodness, I miss you, Bree, and I could feel a tear roll from my eye, and I just said, but I can feel you here, and just then I felt the hug, and then a few minutes, a little while later, I get the message from
Yeah.
Bree. I mean, from him talking about Bree, keeping her memory alive and that love, and to me, that was like a warm hug again, other than the one I could when I said, "Oh, I feel you, thank you." That was even more so because I didn't send that hug to me. I know I asked for the hug I got, but that one came organically. So to
Yeah.
me, it was like it was all what is it, whatever, synchronicity.
Synchronicitous.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I couldn't get it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, Lois, thank you so much. I do have a couple people in line, so I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna see if Kelly's back. And then and are you here?
Hello. I
Hello.
am.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you came back. I'm glad you came back. Mary
Thank you.
Kay, I know you've been in the queue. Kelly was in line and then had to dip out, but she's back. And yeah, so
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
absolutely. How's the preschool?
I'm right. It's good. It's just me and Eden today, who he turned 7 months a couple days ago. Can you believe that?
Oh, wow.
I
Yeah,
know.
7 months.
Yeah,
They grow up so fast.
they do. Yeah. So she had to go into work, and so we are hanging out together.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
what does Eden think about the number system?
Um, he's still puzzling it out. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
He's working on number one right now in his little mouth with his finger. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, how about I was gonna go with 17, and then I was
Yeah.
like maybe 24. Then so yeah,
Oh,
17 for sure.
17? Like,
Yes.
yeah. I think. Okay. Yeah, Eden seems to like 17. Okay, this one's titled Of Masters and Leaders. In the time of great masters, there were no leaders. Then, those whom the people loved led the way. After having created the position, the people feared their leaders. Then they despised them. Having created leaders, their faith in Tao was diminished. Having become a leader, his trust in the people was diminished. When there are great masters, there are no leaders. She works day and night and says nothing about it. When the work is done, the people say, "Amazing. We did it all by ourselves." So I know as
Wow.
soon as I started reading that Eden had a lot to say.
Yeah. But gosh, those lines, and I actually that last one is hard to swallow, which is interesting, I think. But definitely, in the middle there, the when the master loses trust in the or the leader loses trust in the people. So the people lose trust in the leader,
Yeah.
and I think, gosh, that's true, isn't it? Like, I mean, when you find yourself in that place of leadership, you have when yeah, I mean, just I can just see it. I don't know. That
Yeah.
was kind of
Yeah.
like a profound truth, which they always are in this. But
Yeah. And it's interesting. That comes after the dissolution of so many things, right? In the time of masters, there were no leaders. Like that means there were no leaders and people were just roaming about doing what they needed to do because there were great masters about. In the
yeah,
time of the great masters, there were no leaders. You didn't need them. Then those whom the people loved led the way. And all of a sudden, the people loved people and they led the way because the people loved them. And
that is interesting. Like, how did that even come about? But yeah,
right. Well, we trust somebody, right? Someone has something and it's like, like in the group, in the group of your friends or whatever, that happens. It's like, "Oh, we love this guy the most. And so we're going to ask
mm,
that person for advice." And then that's going to accidentally create the position of leaders. After having created the position, the people feared their leaders. Then they despised them. And that's like you're all 4 or 5 years old, you're in a group of kids and everybody's happy, but then we start to lean towards one person and then they're the leader and they start dictating how things are going to go. And then all of
totally.
a sudden you're afraid of being kicked out of the group and then the group hates that person.
Yes. That is
We've,
so true. And because my youngest, she finds herself in that position, and then she's devastated when she's not. But she also has this pressure of being the one who thinks of the games every recess. It's like a
yeah,
weird. So then she starts getting resentful, but then she's upset when it goes away. It's like this weird. God,
yeah.
looking at the children.
And then there's these next two lines which you addressed really well. And that's what causes this, right? Having created leaders, their faith in Tao was diminished because instead of trusting themselves and trusting the Tao within them, they're moving towards their leaders and they're asking their leaders because they loved them, because they loved these people, these individuals. We give them that position, having created leaders. We created leaders by loving somebody and asking them to solve our problems for us.
And what that does too is it's a reminder, like, to see everybody.
Yes.
'Cause so many times there's like people are just looking for like the person on the stage, and they're not seeing the people around them, or the person on the stage is looking over the heads of everyone and
Yeah.
seeing who can benefit the most to know, instead of seeing the value in every person equally.
Right. And that's when you lose faith in Tao, right? Because
Mhm.
Tao is taking you to that thing. Why are you doubting that Tao is going to bring you to the best person?
Yeah.
Why do you think you have to control that? And then the other side of the coin, having become a leader, having been someone that the people loved and then started to, take on more responsibility and like your daughter, right? Like, "Oh, I like this. This is nice." You lose trust in the people.
Yeah, she totally did. It's an actual real example. Like, every recess, she had to think of the games, and so they
Yeah.
played like chickens, and then they played something else, and they would play it, and then she started pairing kids up together to play at recess. This
Right.
was literally like the beginning of the school year, but also last year, and she's in fourth grade now, and she started to feel this weight of responsibility, and then she was upset that everybody wasn't wanting to do it, but she was like, they want me to do it, mom. Like, it was such a strange
Yeah.
exact example of this very thing, and she felt like everybody liked each other more than her then, and she felt separated, and she thought she was just in service. It's amazing, actually.
Yeah. When there
Yeah.
are, and then it continues, when there are great masters, there are no leaders.
Mhm.
She works day and night and says nothing about it. When the
Mm.
work is done, the people say, amazing. We did it all by ourselves.
I think the key to that line is that when there are great masters, like when everybody is being a master, because it's
Yes,
easy to take that and make it personal, as in one person feels the weight of everyone in like a self-sacrifice position.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Number 17 of masters and leaders. There are differences there, and the master sees everybody as a master, and a leader sees themselves as a leader.
Master is interesting word, right? Because it's like you're not a master if you call yourself a master. It's like you're
That's right.
constantly on the quest, yet the definition of master is somebody like an expert, but it's really not. It's more
Right.
the mastery of knowing awareness of oneself and then being like in balance with all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
And that's how it all sort of unfolds, and here we are.
Here we are,
Here we are.
the book of awareness moments.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, that was very good. I'm gonna move on because I got Mary
Yes.
Kay and Alicia in line. So you enjoy your day with Eden, and Eden, keep it up, man. You'll pick a number soon.
Thank you for being here. Love.
All right. Love you. Bye bye. We're going to Mary Kay. Hey, Mary. Thank you for being so patient. Hello, dear.
Martin, what
How
an
are you?
amazing gift I got yesterday.
What's that?
Oh my God, my notebook from FIT. I did work on the first fabrics, synthetic fabrics, and I have proof wool fiber to fabric science. I never thought. What I thought was my mom found my diploma. That's what she said.
Uh-huh.
But what I got was, Jesus Christ, my notebook from FIT. I never even knew that it was a state university, whatever that means. And
Oh.
there's a word that I wrote, my God, textile science, my name, textile design department, what the hell is this word? And I did work for the Board of Education, Schitt's Creek. Who cares about a diploma? I got a notebook. Wow. I got this is my book that I wrote.
Yeah. Right.
And I am ethnic. What's her name? Kristen Brown. We're all
Yeah.
ethnic. I love you, sister. Distinguish between, oh, my something lace, Lever's lace. Wow, wool. I worked on the first synthetic wool. And
Yeah.
it's in an envelope. Wait, shit. Holy something. I, I,
Okay, Mary, but
but
let's
wait,
let's
hold
get a
on.
number and
And
see
there's
how
a
we can
weaving.
wrap this all up.
I'm picking number 13. That's my
Number.
number.
That's your number. Lucky number 13.
Yes.
So this is interesting. This one's entitled Finding Equality at the Extremes. And here you are in an extreme. You just got this
I
notebook
just
and you got
opened the white envelope
and here it is. And this
and
is
made
interesting. Like
fabric. That's the
let's
title.
finding equality at the extremes. To succeed and to fail are equally undesirable. Creation and destruction are equally present within us. And here you are talking about creation. What
What?
do I mean by to succeed and to fail are equally undesirable? The more success you have, the more you protect it by hiding failure. The more you associate with failure, the more you embody it. When neither success nor failure is identified as the destination, being becomes the objective. What do I mean by creation and destruction are equally present within us?
Yes.
Having a body and a mind with which I identify gets me involved in the manifestation. The manifestation convinces me of my actions, and so naming them, I both create and destroy,
Yes.
neither of which are unique.
Hold on, Martin.
Yes.
This morning, my sister texts me, women's wellness in my town. I was going to respond, women's destruction.
Yes, look at you.
I
This
swear
is
to
right in
God.
line.
I
This is
swear.
right in line.
And I picked it, number 13.
To see yourself, it wraps up, to see yourself with indifference, you will have faith in all things. To see the world with indifference, you will be able to care for all things. And that's where it ends.
Wow.
So, this one is interesting to me as we talk, because to succeed and to fail are equally undesirable, create and destroy are equally present within us. And then we have this end, to see yourself with indifference, right? Like, to see your life, whether you succeed or fail, with indifference, then you can have faith. And no matter what is happening, we were talking just a moment ago with Kelly about this
Yeah.
idea that having that idea of where it's supposed to go will get us in the way of ourselves. To see the world with indifference, you will be able to care for it all, for all of the world, because you can create and destroy, and knowing
Yes.
that it's within each and every one of us to do both of those things.
By the way, I broke my nose last night.
You broke your nose.
Yes.
What are you? Did you? Were you out last night?
No, I was not.
Okay.
We were bringing something because I'm going to be studying again, whatever that means.
Yeah. Well, you're a studier. I mean,
Yeah. So my sister gives me this metal filing thing that you put on the wall. It's metal. So I decide to clean it and dry it outside, which I did in her house. Of course, we get into an argument over the notebook, my book, and she wheels with the truck, and I'm like, what the fuck? My stuff is in there, especially. I was in a hospital yesterday, not visiting.
wait a minute. Why is your life like this?
It's the story of life. It's the story of my life. So, the sons are calling and this and everything is good, and she fucking drives away. I'm banging on the truck, like running after her truck.
Fucking
And
Mary.
finally
Fucking
stops.
Mary.
Yeah. Wait. She finally stops. She's like, oh shit. And I'm like, yeah, sis, my stuff are in the back. She goes, oh my God. And she stops. I take it out. I put it in outside my door. So, and then I forget about it because I'm tired. I had a full day.
Yeah,
And
sounds like.
and then as I'm bringing it in, I freaking hit the wall
You oh.
because there was no lights.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
got to turn on the lights.
Yeah.
So I had blood
Mary.
all over my living room, in the bathroom, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'll get over it. It's not the first time. I don't need emergency care. So it stopped, but it was a lot of blood. It's good to let it out.
Yeah, let it flow. Let it flow. Yeah, so this one is, it's also nice that you're like, as we look at this, like it is, like the more you associate with, the more success you have, the more you protect it by hiding failure. All of that I don't think really kind of matters. I think it's that this first and last sections, right? To succeed and to fail are equally undesirable. We understand that. The creation and destruction are equally present within us. We understand that. And then to see yourself, that's the succeeding and failure part. With indifference, you will have faith in all things, and you'll have faith in what is, even the
Yeah.
fact that you have a broken nose, even the fact that
Oh,
you're in the
I'll
hospital.
heal.
All of that, you can have faith in the fact that those are taking you where you need to go. And then to see the world with indifference, which means that when you see creation and when you see destruction, you can see it with indifference, and you will be able to care for all things,
Yeah.
no matter what comes. And I
And
think that that's a beautiful way of
it
wrapping
is
up.
beautiful. And 13 is my lucky number.
Lucky
13.
number
I
13.
always said that to the judge.
That's
And
all
like,
good.
and and but it's between a failure and success, or vice versa. You meet and you become a part of so many lives. You
Yes.
understand them equally.
Yes.
there is no losers and winners.
That's right.
Because
And that's
the
seeing that.
loser will, and guess what, Martin? As I walked into the house, she's like, oh shit. I'm like, what the fuck? What is this? And she's looking at her phone. And she's like, is this fraud? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I just walked into your house. She's like, this is fraud. And I'm like, what? She just got a job as an analyst from California. And guess who? An attorney that I freaking met. It was
Oh yeah.
intense encounter. And I'm like, show me the picture. And she's like, how do you know these people? I'm like, because you sit in your house and I go out
That's right.
and I say hello.
There's
And
indifference.
I
Like
do.
just see it with indifference, and
And
then
I'm like, I
and
know
you can
this
care
woman.
for all things.
I know this woman. And she's like, how do you know? I said, I don't know her personally. I just happened to say hello to her.
Yeah.
In the park or in a restaurant and all this. And she's like, it's fraud. I'm like, take a risk, sis.
Take a risk.
Take a risk. Fraud is fraud. We're all fraudulent and we're all, doing things.
That's beautiful.
And her husband comes and he's like, reading. I'm like, why are you reading? Just take it. That's what I
Say
did.
less, say yes, right?
Just say yes. So if it's a fraud, it'll be worked out.
Yeah. It
And
always gets
that
worked
fraud,
out.
she got a job as I walked in, and my mom says, Mary always brings good luck.
Yes.
Take a
That's
risk.
beautiful. Take a risk.
Take a risk.
From Mary
It's not
Cara.
about me. It's not about me.
No.
It's about taking risks and not everything is fraud. We're all coming in truth. And if it is, so what? She was a banker. She knows how to handle it.
Yeah, you'll handle yourself.
Yeah.
All right, Mary. I'm going to be wrapping up.
love
I'm going
you
to let
so
you go.
much.
I love you. I hope
Me
you have a
too.
great day. We'll talk
I got to
soon.
fix my nose now.
Yeah, fix your nose.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, thank you guys so much for joining me on Tao of the Day. I appreciate everything. I am calling it, so no more. I'm not going to take any more guests. But if you benefit from the work I do, definitely keep an eye out for me weekday morning Central Time here on Wisdom to talk about the Tao of the Day, where you pick a number and then I read your Tao and we go through it together. We went through quite a few numbers today, 7 or 8. Jesus, that's a lot. And I'm looking forward to talking with you about the Tao. If you benefit from the work that I do, definitely check me out on in my profile. You can get links to my website, martinjohn.com, where you can donate a little tip to me, or you can send me a little Venmo tip at martinjohn_Garcia on Venmo. Thank you so much once again for joining me for Tao of the Day. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.